Hey y'all, I'm Mel from Shopify Rebellion Gold. I'm here with ZOWIE Esports Academy, and I want to teach you how to master Astra. So when it comes to pre-round star placement on Astra for defense, I like to keep it really simple, especially for ranked. You don't want to overcomplicate it because one, you should be trying to play your own game, but two, oftentimes the other team isn't going to be picking up on what you're doing and what you're not doing, so you should just play for the best outcome all the time. So by that I mean I like to place a max of 3 stars ever, and I like to keep the other 2 just kind of for myself. On pistol, I'll place 1 star, and then I'll reactive the other 2. You'll kind of find your comfort level as you play Astra, how many stars you're comfortable placing, but I like to keep it to a minimum because I like to just do things pretty quickly. But if you're playing in Premier or you're on a team, you could also place stars reactively pretty well because your team will understand what they want to do around it. But these 3 stars are the go-to on this map. Something that's a bit more advanced would be, instead of doing the site star, a main star, you could always do a site star instead, rather. This is really good when you're on a site, because really your whole plan is just to help your teammates from across the map, and this helps, this can help a lot for, the other team is executing the site, the darts coming in, a bunch of stuff's going on, the blinds coming in, and it gives them a safe place to stay alive for you, to buy time for you to rotate and you to get the kills and stuff like that. So this star is really good. Sometimes you'll see this one too. But just for now, to keep it really basic, I would say just place the main stars, and then you can play mid-map. You hear your teammates say, oh, it's A, that's your cue, put the site star down, smoke it. Pretty simple. Another thing you can do is doubling up the stars, obviously, with the smoke, and then using this as a suck. I like to do this if it's I have a read early on that I think the other team is gonna exec a site, normally from ults or just tendencies. I mean, we've all had the rank game where A is getting abused 24/7, or on Abyss, B site, they're just running B over and over and over again. So sometimes I'll just start the round just by putting a suck down, a gravity well. So I'll just smoke, I hear my teammates calling, and I'll just pair it with the suck. Super, super easy. So once you kind of get an understanding of how the game kind of plays out, you'll understand where your use of stars will kind of emerge. But just to keep things simple, do those stars, occasionally put a star here, a second star whenever you think they're gonna hit the site, either mid-round or on a hard read at the beginning off of their ults. And don't forget that site stars are really, really strong for your team as well. For your star placement on attack, honestly, there are some default stars you can do if you really want to get crazy with it. On a map like Abyss, you can do this star and you can recall it, and it threatens you crossed over here, and you can kind of take your fights here. Alternatively, if you have a ranked team that listens to you, you can do the deeper star here. My team likes to call this the G2 smoke, but what G2 likes to do is they'll smoke off the choke, and they'll use a dart or a knife or something to clear what's in front of the smoke. So you can kind of segment the space and compartmentalize what you're taking. That can be really useful on Abyss when you want to take a main. And also, just putting the default stars here. In ranked, I only ever do 2. I like to have 3 so I can exec whenever, because people don't really play that slowly in ranked. But yeah, I would say put these 2 default stars, even this one. These 2 are pretty good, because if someone's gonna aggro here, you can just stun them and then get the kill. But yeah, just these 2, and just making sure you know what to use when you're actually in the round. Obviously, know the most basic smokes. Don't do this one, please. take deeper space. This one does not help very much, really, at all. So do the deeper smokes, and then I would also say don't blow all 4 stars on the execute. Generally use 3. So do some combination of 2 smokes and a stun, 2 smokes and a suck, or a stun, suck, smoke. I'm sitting here doing 4 things. It's a lot when you should be going in and trading out your team instead. The most common combo would probably be with Sova ult, to be honest. Sova ult pairs really well with suck on the bomb, because you get to vulnerable them, and then after a certain point, after like near the end of your suck, you call for the Sova ulti and they'll be vulnerable, so they'll take like double damage, and so the Sova ult can do way more damage. It can kill in 1 pulse instead of 2. That can be pretty good. But typically, like layering any piece of util with the stun is also great. Like you can't really go wrong, honestly. It's a pretty universal ability. Like you could pair stun nade here, you could pair stun like KO nade. There's a lot of things you can do. On attack though, typically you don't want to combo it too much. Like shock darts is a good one because shock darts don't take people off the spike by themselves unless they're low. But typically on attack, you kind of want to do like very segmented, like, okay, I'm gonna Astra suck the first tap, then you're gonna KO Molly, then we're gonna Sova ult. You kind of want it to not be on top of other things because you want to take them off the spike as much as possible. So on attack, I wouldn't think about it too much. On defense, actually a really good combo I need to bring up is the Vice Vines. Oh my god, when someone hits a Vice wall here and there's an Astra suck and there's Vines, it's so annoying. So comboing those two things is really good. So one good thing about Astra's kit that if you aren't doing it, you're probably not getting the most value out of is like fakes. Her util kit is like very, very good for fakes. Her wall, her Astra wall, if you don't know, it cuts the audio. So if you're on this side of the wall, you're not gonna hear what's happening on this side of the wall unless you're like super, super, super close. But for example, let's say your team has been hitting B a lot and you've been getting some good success. Maybe the 3rd time you execute B, instead of saying, yo, let's go B, you just send an Astra wall out, you put a bunch of stars, which using the Astra wall, it kind of functions as smokes pretty much, like just a huge wall of smokes that opens up the other stars to actually be used as like initiator util. So you can dump like, you could do the Astra wall, you could do a bunch of stars here, you could do one for the flood, you could gravel the flood, you can stun the box. This whole time, because Astra can do all this util from anywhere on the map, you could be in spawn doing this and be one of the A players execing A while you're faking B. So definitely get value out of Astra's kit by faking. It kind of felt like the wall was kind of built for it, honestly. It's also very strong on its own, but I would definitely say that. Like, abuse the fact that Astra can use her stars from anywhere. Try to be the person that's on the other side of the fake as well. So if you're faking A with stars, don't be the A player unless you have to be one of the B players because it kind of shows more presence that way towards the other side. From an IGL perspective, Astra, I think she really thrives in like slow defaults and playing the round out. I think that, I mean, she can do some fast hits pretty well. Like I said, with her ult, like there's a lot you can do. It opens up your stars for doing like more aggressive early control, like early executes. But I think she's really, really good as time goes on in the round. Once you kind of figure out where they are, and then you can kind of like use your stars off of the information you get. So like, let's say you do an A default and you see like Jet and KO. In that case, you could probably discern that the B site has like a Sentinel, probably Vice or Cypher. And we all know there isn't really a lot of spots to play on B. If you're a Sentinel player, you can really only ever play here and here. Some Senties will play here off of like a close cage and like go for one and then back up. But typically you can kind of infer where a Sentinel is playing if you can tell where they are. And so if they're on B, it can be good to kind of like target util on them. Like the Astra stun covers so much of backside and you could do the pull for the other angle so they can't swing you from there. Obviously you should do the smokes here too as a controller player. But stuff like that as an IGL, like I said, it's nice to play the rounds kind of slower when you have Astra. Because Astra has global util, you don't have to be in range like you would on Omen or Clove or Brimstone. I could do stars for A from B. Kind of in the same vein as faking, because your kit can be used so universally, she can be a really good lurker too. So while your teammate is taking B, for example, you can do stars for them from here, right? Just pretty basic stuff. And typically, I like to do this when the team isn't opping, because, you know, in ranks people op. Or if I know the opper is on B, and then I'll just take these fights. And you can lurk here, like you pretty much kind of have done your job, you've done the smokes and stuff like that. Let's say you've already kind of played post plant. And just going for these lurks can be really strong, especially if your Sentinel player in ranked isn't really doing too much for you. But She's a very good lurker because you can never really tell where she is. The other team can't tell where you are pretty much ever unless they're right next to you and they hear you do your util, which is a little bit annoying when you're in Astra World and they hear you. But yeah, I would say mix up a little bit of lurking too. She's pretty good on maps like that. Sometimes you see some teams run like double controller. This is more like the pro level, but some teams will run like Omen Astra on this map. I think Sentinels did it. And that's where you see the Astra really just hard lurk because they have another controller player. So if in ranked for whatever reason, or your premier games, if you are running 2 controllers, take a little bit more risk as well. You can lurk a little harder and not have to play post plan as much. On Astra, I would say something that could help a lot in your ranked games would be to kind of bait a little bit. Astra, compared to Omen, thrives in like the later parts of the round, in post plants, especially on attack, right? If you have the spike planted there, you don't want to be the one entering next to your jet and dying, right? When imagine if you had got the spike down, you can play the clutch situations with your suck or your stun, like any. You could even some situations, maybe not this one. This one might be a little crazy. That's actually not that bad. Some situations you could one-way the bomb as well. Like you have so many ways to clutch up the round for your team. So I'd recommend just baiting a little bit, let your teammates get the site for you, and you can kind of clean up the trades as like the 3rd or 4th person in. But once you get that bomb down, back up, play your util, and how many times is it, like you can just win around by doing this. You just press one button, and then the other team probably took forever to get on site because it's ranked, and then you just win the round, you don't even have to peek them. Stuff like that, super easy and will make your life a lot easier. Just make sure that you're not playing Astra like Clove. Clove, you want to go in and run it down. Astra, bait a little bit more, I would say. And I think on defense, it's important to stay alive as well. On the retakes, you want to be kind of baiting as well when you're on defense, so you can be the one smoking the bomb. Because on the flip side, right, let's say the other team had a controller player that didn't bait, they're not playing Astra, maybe they died early, they can't, pull you off the bomb, you can smoke and stick. Or you or a teammate can smoke and stick, because it's very rare someone is very good at spamming the spike. So yeah, just stay alive and play your kit. All right guys, that was the video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and thank you for watching my episode of the ZOWIE Esports Academy.